How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We are going over my 4 favorite growth stocks today. And this is a very exciting video because one of these is one that I just bought yesterday and it went up 20% after hours. And I was planning on buying more. I had some issues with that, but I am planning on buying more of it soon. There's another one that I bought just a few days ago. These stocks are stocks that I think can go up dramatically over the next couple months, over the next couple years, over the next 10 years. So I think that there is a lot of potential in these companies. A lot of them are very high growth. So if you guys like this, if you guys want to see this video, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Also, if you are someone that is interested in this, I am talking to my personal group, to my Patreon members. Every day when I buy stocks and sell stocks, I'm telling them what I buy and how much and what price. And if you want to join that, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. The top tier is for a call where you can get in and actually ask me questions for twice a month for half an hour. So definitely check that out. And if you want 4 free stocks through WeBull now, if you want 4 free stocks, they upgraded it from 3 to 4, then you can check out the link below, deposit $100. I am excited about this because you can actually buy after hours with WeBull. So if you were part of the Patreon group or you just saw the video that I did yesterday, after hours, you could have bought this company that I bought and gotten 20% if you bought after hours with WeBull. So it's kind of nice, and they did up the amount of free shares that you get or free stocks that you get. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. It's a great deal. So before we get into it, this is very exciting. I've never had this before. We are literally only down in one position of every single individual stock that we have, and we're only down 20 cents in that position. So literally, I'm doing a video later this weekend on my entire portfolio where I break down every single position. So if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe so you can see that. But in my Roth IRA, we are all green on every position, up 98% in some positions, 90% in another, 100% plus on Tesla. We are up in my dividend portfolio on every single position except for AT&T, which is down negative 20 cents. We're up every single position in this portfolio too, in my WeBull account. So literally we're up on every single position here. And then in my other account too, you can see a total gain loss positive in both of these stocks. This literally contains every single individual stock that I have in these 3 brokerages, and we're up on every single position. So it is very exciting. This video is very hard to film because there are a lot of stocks that I like a lot. So before we get into the growth stocks that I'm picking as the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 stocks for growth, I'm going to go over some of the honorable mentions. So Facebook stock, a company that I love. It's my largest individual position at this point. I did have to measure though growth and risk reward. So Facebook is up there. I don't think they necessarily have as much growth as some of these other companies, but if you're looking for a company that I think personally will grow 10 to 15% a year, and it is at a cheaper multiple than a lot of the other companies that are similar to it, Facebook is the way to go. It grows so much every year, and I think it's just such a good value even now. The next company is Workhorse. So I've talked about Workhorse a lot. Again, honorable mention here. I think that with the USPS decision coming up and them possibly getting a huge contract from the USPS, I think this does offer a lot of reward, but it also offers a lot of risk. I am up on this position and, I feel good about it. I talk about the company a lot. I think that they still offer a good potential going forward, but again, high risk, high reward. The other stock that kind of goes along with that is Lordstown Motors. So this is the last honorable mention here, but this is a company that has 50,000 pre-orders for a $50,000 pickup truck. So they sell to fleets. So their average fleet size that they're selling, or their average order size, is 500 vehicles. So they are selling massive amounts, and they have about $2.5 billion worth of pre-orders. Their market cap is about $4.5 billion right now. And you might be asking, well, why is that related to Workhorse? Well, Workhorse owns 10% of Lordstown Motors, so they are connected in that way. I think it does offer a good amount of growth, but there is some risk to it because they are a smaller company that is trying to compete with the GMCs, the Fords of the world. So definitely check that out, but it might be a tough stock to actually become profitable long term. But if they do become profitable, if they're able to scale up, there's a lot of reward there. Now, the first stock on this list is a stock that I just covered yesterday, and I'm really excited about it. It's CIIG Merger Corp, or the ticker CIIC. They are merging, or they're supposed to merge, with Arrival. So Arrival is an EV company that makes buses and also makes vans. So they are out of the UK. They have several things going for them, and you can see my video if you want to check it out. I'll link it on the end screen on Arrival that breaks it down more in depth, but they are backed by a lot of big companies. First of all, BlackRock has invested over $100 million in them. BlackRock, which is one of the biggest investment firms in the world with, I believe, $7 trillion in assets under management. They have invested in this company. Also, we have some other big car manufacturers like Hyundai and Kia that have invested in this company and are partnering with them. They also have $1.2 billion worth of pre-orders through UPS. Right now, they say their market cap's about $432 million, but that's because they haven't accounted for the value of the new company and the amount that CIIG is buying in this company. So overall, this company, Arrival, should be worth, between $4 and $5 billion or so. Now, the stock is moving up a lot, so I just bought it yesterday. Again, this is where I was talking about. If you want to join the Patreon or if you want to get WeBull, this is where it's really useful. For when I found this stock, it was up about 22% or so. I bought a decent amount, and it's moved up 27-28% since then. So I plan on buying more, but it is something where if you get the first mover advantage, if you hear about it a little bit earlier, it is pretty useful. So again, check out the Patreon, check out WeBull, and use those links to get the free stock. But CIIG is a very interesting one to me. With all these big backers and with a big deal already, it is a EV company, and this is the wave that we're trying to ride right now, that EV wave. That takes us to the next stock, which is Switchback Energy, or Chargepoint. So they are merging with Chargepoint. This is going to be a really interesting company because they are the EV chargers that you might see out and about in parking lots and different ride and shares and stuff like that. So far, we bought a decent amount, and we're at $16.50 cost basis. And we're up pretty well since then. With Biden becoming president, you can tell that we are probably going to be able to expand. He wants to have 500,000 charging locations in the US. Chargepoint is already the biggest provider, and I believe they have around 70,000 in the US. I could be wrong though, so don't quote me on that. But we're looking at massive growth. This is a SPAC also, so they are getting closer to the merger. And you can see that there are some massive moves right now. There's a lot of volatility, but it is a very interesting company that I think offers a lot of growth from now to maybe 5 years from now, when we're really able to scale out a massive amount, especially with EV growing like crazy. I've talked about this in a separate video too. I've talked about Switchback and Chargepoint if you want to see a longer video, but they have that old saying that the people that made money off the gold rush weren't the people that were finding the gold or looking for the gold. It was the people selling the shovels. So instead of trying to bet on the next EV company, you can just bet on the company that's going to make money from whoever wins that, and that's Chargepoint. The next company is one that I've talked about in a couple of videos, and that's Teledoc. So ARK Invest has been buying a huge amount of this company. I'm talking about over $130 million worth just last week. And then on top of that, they bought about $46 million on Monday and about $7 or $8 million on Tuesday. This company is being bought up like crazy by one of the most innovative mutual funds and ETFs out there. And they are coming down. So if you don't know what they are a telehealth company. So they are a virtual healthcare company. They have been growing like crazy since the pandemic. You can see that they've been up a lot during the pandemic. And then once things started to look a little bit better, they went back down. But I think that a lot of people are underestimating how much this company can grow and the value that offers, whether we are in a pandemic or not, because they offer this healthcare at a much cheaper rate than a traditional doctor's office. I mean, when you think about the overhead of a doctor's office versus just something that's online, that would make sense. Also, it's a lot more convenient. So instead of taking a couple hours out of your day trying to take PTO and then having to ride somewhere, fill out papers, and then wait for, half an hour or something for a doctor, you can just log on and then wait and then put your phone off to the side and then jump on for maybe 10, 15 minutes and then be done with it. It saves you a lot of time and a lot of money. And I think this is going to be a company that's going to be maybe the way of the future. I am invested in it, and I've been buying more than just about any company recently. And then the final company, the king of them all, that has already grown a massive amount, but I think will grow a lot over the next 5 or 10 years. And this probably won't grow necessarily as much as these other companies, but I think it will grow, 100, 200% over the next 5 or 10 years. That's Tesla. So before you click off, before you're annoyed with this, I think Tesla is going to be an awesome company. Their market cap right now is approaching $500 billion, but they don't have their autonomous taxi network. They don't have their Cybertruck. They haven't gotten into their semis yet. These are all, the way of the future, and I think people are underestimating the autonomous taxi network and the revenue that they can make from that and the net income. I mean, I think that's going to be just a cash churning machine, whether it's 5 years down the road or 10 years. They also have their solar business. They have a lot going for them. And I realize that people still are valuing them pretty high right now, but I think this will be one of the top 2 or 3 companies in the world in 5 or 10 years, if not the number 1 company in terms of revenue, in terms of their reach and their impact on the world. And I realize I sound like a fanboy. They are one of my larger positions, but I am just really excited about this company, holding on to them for the future. I realize that they're pretty expensive now, but I think that they are still a good buy if you're looking 10 years out or even longer. So let me know what you think about these companies. Let me know which of these companies you're buying. Again, I'm going to do that video where I cover all my different positions this weekend. It will not include CIIC because I made it earlier today and I just bought them today. So unfortunately, that won't be on there, but every other position, including some other investments that are outside of stocks, are going to be in there. I'm going to talk about my cash position. I'm going to talk about my stocks. I'm going to talk about my other investments. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I'm going to break down every single number. I'm not going to be like 10%, 5%, 10%. I'm going to give you the actual dollar amounts. And if you want to see that video on CIIC or that new EV company that I've been buying, definitely check out this video here. I'm going to go over a lot more in depth. Thank you for checking out WeBull, and I will see you in this video.